The purpose of this show is to guide you to realign with habits that get you to live the life you've always dreamed of. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle Podcast with Jesse Yule. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle, where you can access your full potential right now. Finally break free from destructive habits. That dream life, if you want it, you can have it. This is where you transform your health, mind, business, and relationships. Or do nothing and keep your life the way it is. But if you're ready for change, you're in the right place. This is where you're gonna learn how to live a habit-based lifestyle. You are tuning in to the Habit-Based Lifestyle Podcast with your host, Jesse Yule. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle. Let's go.
And today we're going to talk about a little bit of different habit. You see, we're going to talk about this habit of, do you judge yourself? I just recently I had hired an intern, and his job was to come in and take some pictures of me. Now, I'm like, man, I'm going to get some pictures of me. This is going to be really cool and all this. And he spent Saturday, a few days ago, he came in and took some pictures of me. And as I started to get them back, right away, I started to find myself judging myself, looking at myself, and just sitting there and being like, man, I need to work on my love handles. I need to work on, losing my hair, which I don't really know if I can work on that. But the key thing is I began to judge myself. Do you ever judge yourself? Do you ever have a habit of judging you each and every day? You see, I judged myself for so long in my physical body. I can remember all the way back as a kid. I was a husky kid. I was pretty physical, but I was also a little husky early on. And I remember, clothes, being tight, being form-fitted. But the feelings I'm talking about. When you sit down, you can feel your love handles. You can feel your stomach fold over. And then what about your back fat when you reach back and feel that? And what I'd find is I would find that I would constantly judge myself. This went on for years, all the way up until I made a change in high school. I wasn't a fat kid. I was very athletic. But at that point, I decided that anabolic steroids would be a good choice for me as an athlete. So it began to drive me, and I began to take these. And one of the things that it actually did is it gave me confidence on one side, but on the other side, it gave me acne. And this acne was something that I would constantly hide. It was on my back. I still have a little bit of scars from it, but that I actually noticed in the pictures. Like, they literally haven't gone away. They've gotten better, but the thing inside of this is like those scars are to remind me of just simply judging myself. But as I continued to do these through athletics, through high school, I stopped in college, and then I started back into them after college once I got into bodybuilding. And I can remember judging myself just as much being on those as I did being off of them. I can remember judging myself for not having big enough triceps or not having big enough legs or not having a good enough six-pack, yet to the average person, or to 95% of people, most people come up to me and be like, dude, you're jacked. You look great. You're awesome. But on the inside, I still judge myself in front of that mirror every single day. You see, this may come as a surprise to you, but for those that know me, but this is what's driven me my whole life to continue working out. Literally 3 decades of training. And then to take on a career as a trainer. Now as a coach, to just realize this one simple thing, that I have to constantly train myself. I have to constantly train myself because if I don't, I stop improving. If I stop training, I stop improving. If I stop training, I stop growing. And if I stop growing, I stop expanding in the man I could become. But this has literally driven me my whole life. And inside of my journal today, I began to write. I began to write about why. Why do I judge myself? Why did I judge myself for so long? You see, I think the biggest reason why is when I used to look at myself, I used to look at myself and I would see all the things on the exterior that I had to change. And so I would work out, but I kept seeing things that I needed to change. What I couldn't see at that time was the things on the inside that I needed to change. So now today, when I go back and look at pictures, yeah, my mind wants to go to this place of, okay, you got to change this. You got to get a six pack. You got to lose some body fat. You got to do this. But now when I go back and look in the mirror, I see me. The things that I see that I must change are inside of me. They're no longer on the outside, and at times they will be. But that just reminds me to get refocused on myself. You see, it's easy to look at yourself and see all the things wrong with you on the outside. But the true power is when you look in the mirror and see the things on the inside. Because the things on the inside must match the external things on the outside. Otherwise, no matter how good you look, no matter how in shape you are, you're not going to see anything. And this goes for the other side. Maybe you're listening to this and you're like, man, I'm overweight. I'm out of shape. I feel like crap. But you're just looking at yourself. You don't actually see yourself. You don't actually see what's inside of you. You don't actually see your soul. And if you can't see that, then everything becomes blurry on the outside. Every part of you is an illusion. And this illusion is this. Whatever we've created on the outside is a manifestation of what was on the inside. Whatever we have created on the outside is a manifestation of what was on the inside. So no matter how good a shape you're in, if you're broken on the inside, eventually it's going to show. No matter how bad a shape you're in, if you're broken on the inside, you're going to carry that weight and carry that burden with you everywhere. You see, I believe the more ripped, the more in shape you are, the more pain you're in on the inside. And you might be able to hide from some people. You might be able to get all these pats on the back, how great you are. But the reality of it is you are in massive pain on the inside. Anybody who has that much time to work out, anybody who has that much time to work on themselves physically is in deep pain on the inside. How do I know? Because I was in the same exact pain. It drove me to want to take drugs to change my body. It drove me to want to take drugs to be a better football player. It drove me to take drugs just so I could tell myself and see myself in the mirror and be like, listen, like, I look great. Yet on the inside, I was a wreck. I was more of a wreck the better shape I got into being on drugs than I've ever been not being on drugs. So you might be a pro bodybuilder. You might be an amateur bodybuilder. You might be some badass, jiu-jitsu, whatever, Krav, black belt, whatever. But here's what I know. You have let pain control you. You have let pain control you to the point where you've had to put so much focus in one area just to block out the pain. You put so much focus on one area to block out the pain. It's the only thing that takes the pain away. And it's no different than being addicted to drugs, alcohol, weed, porn. It's the same thing. It's just when you're addicted to working out, when you're addicted to being an athlete, most people pat you on the back. Most people will tell you how great you are. And so you become addicted to getting patted on the back. Yet on the inside, you're broken, you're hurt, you're in pain, and you can see it. I can see it. Most people, if they're on steroids today, if they walk by me, I can smell it. I can see it on them. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. If that's what you choose, that's great. But that's what I've found and experienced with me. Now, I love sports. I love athletics. But it's gotten to the point where literally every person that's a pro athlete is on some type of steroid, some type of drug. And if that's the way you get paid, great. I would end up probably doing them too, if that was the way I got paid. And I didn't even get paid and I did them because it gives you an advantage. But what it doesn't give you is a connection to your heart and to your soul. It actually takes it apart. It rips it apart because deep down, you're still in pain. Deep down, it doesn't fix any of that stuff. It just masks it. And it masks it worse for a longer time. I've seen so many people who are pro bodybuilders, amateur bodybuilders, pro athletes, literally be broken because of this. Literally to be on drugs, massive amounts of other drugs, just because of this thing. So if you're one of these guys or one of these women who feel you have to take something to look better, I would have you consider to just simply start seeing the person in the mirror. Instead of looking in the mirror, start seeing that person in the mirror, looking in the eye every single fucking day. Because eventually you're going to see you. The judgment will always come. But when you begin to look and you begin to see yourself in the mirror over and over and over, you begin to see the things internally that you're going to have to change. Because if you don't see those, everything else is on the outside, externally. And you can only change that so much. Man, I'm getting out of breath today. So here's what I want you guys to think about. Whether you're on drugs or not, like, this is not what this is about. This is simply about my story, my experience through taking steroids, not looking at myself in the mirror, not actually seeing myself. Now, I've been on a different journey than maybe some of you. But what I've noticed with me is the more I can see me and look in the mirror, the more I can see my soul and the things that I must change, the things that I must work on. No way I'm perfect. No way in my body, anything else is perfect. But what I am willing to do is see myself and work on myself every single day. Not just physically, but mentally, spiritually, and connect the internal part of me to the external part. Because I feel way more powerful when I do that than any amount of weight I can lift. So if you're listening to this and you feel the pain, whether you're 300 pounds, 400 pounds, or you're fit, and to most people, you're on point, you're in shape, but on the inside, both of you feel the pain. I would love to speak to you. I'd love to set up a one-on-one 30-minute call, and I don't want to charge you. This would be free. Let's talk about this. Let's see where you're at. Let me hold up a mirror for you. You can reach out to me, Jesse at habitbasedlifestyle.com. You can also go to the website, habitbasedlifestyle.com. But I would love to talk to you and see how I can hold up a mirror so you can see you. And you can see the version of you that you haven't met, because this is the person that's awaiting you. And no matter how good a shape you get into, how much weight you lose, until you meet this person, you're not going to see all of you. You're not going to see all of your potential. So guys, I appreciate you being on here. If this message resonates with you, please leave me a review. Reach out to me, set up a one-on-one call. I would love to talk to you. Until next episode, have a great week.
The purpose of this show is to guide you to realign with habits that get you to live the life you've always dreamed of. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle Podcast with Jesse Ewing.